I was talking with my son earlier today, my oldest son, and he likes to play a game where he pretends to be scared of wolves, where he says that he hears wolves howling around the house, and so then we go and we check it out and we make sure there are no wolves anywhere, and I reassure him and tell him that don't worry, there are no wolves around here, no wolves where we live, because all the wolves have been killed. People killed all the wolves years ago, long ago, so that we would be safe from wolves. And they wouldn't eat our livestock, wouldn't eat our cows, wouldn't eat our chickens. He reminded me they would also eat sheep, and that's very smart. And it's funny because when I was a kid, I was an ardent environmentalist and conservationist, and I thought that it was absolutely evil that the wolves of North America had been almost wiped out. I grew up seeing all those terrible pictures of the, like, when they would hunt the wolves, and they would like string all their carcasses up and things like that, and it'd be presented as this terrible thing, as this an injustice that the wolves were hunted so ferociously, and the people say, oh, wolves are harmless, and wolves don't attack human beings the way they're portrayed, and then that may be true to an extent, but it's still better that we destroyed the wolves. It is still, I see now that I am older, it's a good thing that my forefathers killed all the wolves, mostly. Where I grew up when I was young, there actually are some wolves wild there. There's still some, and I thought it was awful that people wanted to hunt them for sport, which it is kind of strange to want to hunt a wolf for sport these days, but back then it was a good thing. It was a useful thing. Killing all the wolves made this country a lot safer and a lot more pleasant for human beings. And what did we really lose? Not much. People think, oh, we have to reintroduce wolves everywhere, like they're reintroducing them in Colorado. I think there's still, there are some wild in Colorado, but it's not really necessary. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of a waste of time. I mean, you reintroduce the species that was wiped out in a given area, and then so you reintroduce it, and then what? It starts hunting people's livestock, and they just basically cause problems. And what do they really do? They would hunt some deer, which is helpful because it prevents them from breeding out of control and stuff. But human beings can do that too. We don't really need wolves to do that. We don't really need wolves to do anything. All they would do is, if they were around today in meaningful numbers, all the gray wolf in North America would do is cause us problems. They would attack people. They would eat people. Maybe, I think they would probably go after children and maybe people's pets, things like that. They would definitely harass farmers and harass people's livestock, and they would just present a problem. And what would we really gain? Nothing. It's a good thing that people killed the gray wolf and left only small numbers of them alive. It's a good thing, and I see that now that I'm older. This land was made much more peaceful and pleasant and safe for us and productive for us because the wolves are largely not around anymore. And that's all there really is to it. It's a good thing. I would challenge anyone to come up with a really convincing reason why we need gray wolves, why we need timber wolves, why we need wolves in the United States. Maybe we should wipe out the last few pockets of them. Maybe that would be a good thing. in Minnesota and Colorado, and I don't know, I want to say Wyoming. I don't know if that's right, but there might be some others that I don't know about. But those are the main ones, and it would be a good thing, maybe. Or at the very least, we shouldn't try to reintroduce wolves. That's stupid. That's a waste of time. I mean, think about the starving human beings we could feed, and all the productive things we could do with those resources in that time, rather than just try to bring a species back that no longer serves any meaningful role in today's altered man-made landscape. It'd be silly to try to bring back the wolf. I mean, these woods are more pleasant for the absence of wolves. I would rather not be thinking about, are there wolves out here? I would rather not be having to take that into account. It's better to not have to worry about a wolf attack and prepare for a wolf attack and guard against a wolf attack all the time. I mean, what kind of idiot would want that? What kind of an idiot would relish the idea of having to be on guard when you're out taking a hike, looking for wolves all the time, just to satisfy some fool's fetish for reintroducing wolves? That would be very silly. And yeah, I think it's one of those interesting things that I find my perspective changing on a great deal as I get older, because I would have had the complete opposite opinion on this when I was before the age of, I don't know, 20 maybe, probably 20. And then I just kind of gradually, reconsidered a lot of things as I've gotten older. I think for the better. I think I've begun to look at things much more practically and, sensibly, rather than just, because there's absolutely, I was going to say idealistically, but there's nothing wrong with being idealistic. I mean, we should all be idealistic to an extent, to the extent that is reasonable and healthy and lets us lead good lives. But we also have to be practical, and we have to be pragmatic, and we have to really think about the full implications of things, and not just the first sort of impression an idea makes on us. Because the first impression is like, oh, how terrible, they hunted all these wolves and they maybe didn't need to. Maybe it wasn't strictly necessary at that time. But then, more pragmatically, I think it's reasonable to think that, well, they hunted all the wolves because the wolves were going to be a problem, and they didn't need, human beings didn't need the wolves. The wolves wouldn't serve any purpose in the new world that was being shaped, and so the wolves were destroyed for the benefit of human beings, and that's good. And there are plenty of species we obviously shouldn't, the people think of as pests, that we should not be so quick to destroy because they do serve valuable purposes, and people don't necessarily think about it until further down the line, and that's different. So we shouldn't just be too quick to destroy species. But if it's the wise thing to do, which destroying the wolf was, then we should do it, and we shouldn't feel bad about it, because it's the way of nature. It's just we were the superior predators, and we decided to remove competition that would have tried to eat our foodstuff in the wolf, in the gray wolf. And yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we killed all the wolves, for the most part, because they aren't here to threaten us anymore. They aren't here to annoy us anymore. We are better off without them. And because think about it, how my son likes to play this game about being afraid of wolves. It's a game. It is a game, and that's quite the blessing. That's quite the good thing, isn't it? Is that it is just a game, and I never have to worry about him being hunted by a wolf. I never have to be on the lookout, keeping him safe from wolves. I mean, I have to keep him safe from many other things, obviously, but wolves, that's one thing struck off the list. There's a billion other things that I have to be on guard for all the time to protect him from. But wolves, I can cross those off the list. I never have to worry about wolves. Wolves, at least, that is one less thing that as a father I have to worry about.